Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Southerner's Northern Garden. So I'm really excited this year. Proven Winners has introduced into the North American market a new variety of hydrangea called Cascade. So this hydrangea I got from Great Garden Plants. I placed my order last Monday, I believe it was, and it arrived on Thursday, and the plants are in excellent condition. I ordered the Fairytrail Bride, which is the name of the new hydrangea, a Tiny Wine 9-bark, which I've not been able to find locally this year, and a 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 called Wedding Cake, and it has beautiful white blooms on it. So if you've been following my channel, you know I like to purchase smaller shrubs and pot them up for the next year. So that's what I will be doing with the 9-bark and the Wedding Cake 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. For this specific hydrangea, I am in zone 6. This new type of hydrangea is hardy in zone 7 through 9. Now, because this is a new variety, they're not necessarily sure whether it might be hardier in lower zones, so this is a complete experiment for me this year. So I'm going to plant it up in this container with some lamium that I picked up on discount from Home Depot. It has beautiful pink flowers. The name of it is 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. And I actually got these for $2 a piece, and I got 4 of them. That's all they had. I purchased them out. A good tip, this was being sold as an annual for containers. This is a perennial all the way down through zones 4. So at the end of the season, I will take this out of this container and plant it in my landscape, and it's a great ground cover and will provide beautiful pink blooms for me throughout the season. So a little bit more about this hydrangea particularly. As I mentioned, it's a zone 7 through 9 at this point. In our zone 6, they're kind of testing it as an annual. For a hydrangea to be tested as an annual and to be used in containers, it's got to grow extremely quickly. So I'm really excited to try this out, and I hope to get some blooms on it this year. At the end of the season, I have a well-protected spot on the front of my house next to some brick, and I'm going to plant it in the ground like I'm going to do the lamium. But to help it put on its best growth and hopefully get some blooms out of it this year, I'll be providing a little more TLC to it in this container. So I've pre-filled this with potting soil. I'm going to add my usual Osmocote. And I'm going to pop this right in the center and surround it with this lamium. The lamium will spill over the edges as the season progresses, and it'll be hopefully a nice show with the hydrangea blooms surrounded by the lamium and those pink blooms and the variegated foliage on this lamium. So I was really excited about this hydrangea. I'm not going to be able to find it locally, most likely, at least for a couple years, particularly if it is not hardy in our zone. So that's one of the reasons I purchased online. So Great Garden Plants has a great selection of perennials and shrubs that you can purchase and have sent directly to your home. You've seen I purchased shrubs before from Hertz Gardens, and they come in much smaller containers than these. So I would say the shrubs from Hertz that I buy are roughly maybe a third of the size of this, and these have really excellent root systems. So if you're into purchasing shrubs and potting them up for your next season, this is a great alternative to save a little cash or pick out varieties that are not available at your local garden center. So I'm going to put a picture up to the side of what this hydrangea looks like. It's a new type and variety of hydrangea in that it spills and cascades over the container. So that's one of the reasons they are positioning it as an annual for hanging baskets. It blooms on new wood. In its full size, it'll get roughly 4 foot by 4 foot wide if it's hardy in your zone. And it blooms along the entire length of the stem on new wood. So you don't have to worry about necessarily pruning this hydrangea, pruning too much off of it. It's supposed to produce blooms throughout the summer on new wood, and it is quite honestly one of the most beautiful plants in the hydrangea varieties I've seen recently. So I'm super excited to give this a try. I'm going to give a little TLC to this container throughout the year. Hopefully it will put on quite a number of growth, and then in the fall, late fall, say late October, November, I'm going to plant it out in the landscape, and hopefully it will survive winter, and it will be a great test to see if this hydrangea is hardier in zones lower than 7 because it will be a great alternative to people throughout the country to plant something that is unlike anything else on the market. This container in a few months or a few weeks will look great with this lamium spilling over the side and this hydrangea growing up a little bit and spilling over the side as well. If you're interested in what I mean when I pot up these shrubs into slightly larger containers, I take a container that's roughly just the next size up, like this is what it originally came in, and this is the potted up size. So this is a 0.65 gallon container compared to this 1 quart container. So a pro tip is you fill up the container with the pot still in its container, and then you pop the plant out of the container like so, and just slide it right back in there, and then it has soil completely surrounding it perfectly. So this method is great if you want to spend less money for a shrub. So as I mentioned on my channel, I'm getting a fence put in on the back side of my lawn, and a lot of that new area is going to be flower beds. So these shrubs will not be going in the ground on my property until next spring when that area is completed. So this is a great way to save some money, pot up the plants throughout the summer. So this is a roughly 3/4 gallon container. I will pot it up to likely maybe a 1 gallon later this summer. And then if it's put on enough growth and it appears the roots need room to grow, I will pot that into either a 2 gallon or a 3 gallon container to overwinter in my garden. And then I'll have a great full-size plant to plant out in the spring next year. To remember which shrub is which when next year rolls around in the spring and they're all devoid of leaves, I simply take the tag that comes with all the plants you order online from Proven Winners and stick it around the corner of the container so I can pull it up at any time simply like this and look and see what variety that is. So thank you guys for joining me and coming back to the Southerners Northern Garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I am super excited about this hydrangea. Check out greatgardenplants.com. I'll put a link to their website below. They have an excellent selection. It's getting midsummer, so they may be running out on some varieties, but what is available is in excellent shape. You can see there was not any dead foliage on this plant. They do keep them trimmed back, so they produce new beautiful foliage simply for shipping. So if you get it and it seems a little small, it's simply because it's been sheared to be able to maintain the growth in their greenhouses. So thank you guys for joining me, and take care.